opening night for Bill Belichick, sort of like a freshman orientation.
Bud Clark completely showing his experience and just baiting Lopez.
Touchdown TCU, 75 yards, and the heels are getting the boot put right to their backside. Belichick hoping there will be better nights than this one.
We're going back to work, and we're going to get better.
Oh, a big blowout loss for Belichick in his UNC debut, but he's not the only one who had a rough start to their season. Rich, who do you think had the worst week one? Is it Belichick, or is it Arch in Texas, or Kalen DeBoer in Bama?
Oh, again, just going back to what we just said about pressure and how pressure is about whether you're going to have a job or not, or whether somebody's calling for it. I would go Kalen DeBoer for sure. I mean, Bill is Bill. That obviously was shocking to see a Belichick team getting its tail kicked. And hearing basically the college football version of "we're moving on to Cincinnati" of saying "we're moving on to Charlotte." That was interesting. And Arch Manning again. Arch, for his first career road start to come in the shoe like that against a defense that I proffer to say next April when we're at the draft in Pittsburgh, you're going to be hearing a ton of names of players that he was either intercepted by or was dealing with. That's just a really tough assignment. Kalen DeBoer is already, one would think, having people in Alabama look for what his buyout is. They're not, Alabama fans are not used to seeing something like that. So given the choice, I would go with the coach of Alabama. And again, I'll just say here, what I'm going to say at some point on my show, starting top of the hour on Disney Plus. I'm very self-promotional. See, I told you I had two eyes in my first and last name.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is that Arch Manning? It's tough to win in Ohio State unless you're the University of Michigan. So maybe he should have taken some tips from the Wolverines. Other than that, that's just my opinion.
Well, let me say this to you. The word "worse" is the key word here, because how can you get any worse than what you witnessed from UNC last night? I mean, to get blitzed like that, you can't tackle, you can't pass, you can't hold on to the football. No fundamentals appeared to exist. And on top of it all, you went 2 hours and 8 minutes, 8:12 p.m. to 10:20 p.m. to be exact, Rich Eisen, without a completed pass. 8:12 p.m. to 10:20 p.m. That is horrendous. Oh, that's horrendous. So the word "worse," I would say, is Belichick. But I don't blame you for Kalen DeBoer, because to me, you inherit Nick Saban. You're the successor to Nick Saban. You're going to win some games, you're going to lose some games, whatever. You got punked. You got beat up at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. You looked soft. And on top of it all, some kid that was at Boston College shows up to Florida, playing at Florida State, calls out Alabama, says, "You can't stop me," and Nick Saban can't save you. Before the game, and the players said, "Oh, we gonna silence that. We'll deal with that," and then proceed to get beat up. That's very, very bad. And to use a boxing analogy, it is one thing to get caught. It's a good fight, then you get clipped. It happens. It's another thing to get your ass kicked. And when it's an ass kicking, it's a different feeling. And that is what happened to Alabama. It is not something we are accustomed to seeing. And clearly, Kalen DeBoer, he doesn't appear to be the right man for the job. He just doesn't. I'm not saying he can't coach. Not saying he shouldn't be a head coach. I'm saying that Alabama, that is not the right man to succeed Nick Saban. And I think it's obvious.
And I think that's the conversation, you're at the forefront of today, Stephen A., in a way that isn't in North Carolina. Clearly, it's in Bill we trust. We're so excited that Bill is here. There's LT sitting next to MJ, around Roy Williams. That's the sort of, and again, the result was disappointing, to say the least, and shocking to see Belichick coach a team like that. So I totally understand why you would say that was terrible. I didn't know they went that long on the actual clock without completing a pass. That said, if I'm not mistaken, Dion had a better start against TCU a couple years ago. Just wanted to point that out for one of my guys as well. And so, but we'll see what Belichick can do from here on. There's not that level of expectation, I don't think, even despite Belichick's resume and Hall of Fameness. But Alabama, I think, and again, I think there was something along the lines that I saw of multiple tens of millions of dollars for a buyout. Not even Bubba Gump Shrimp's going to stroke that check. So he's going to be there. We'll see what happens the rest of the year, you know?
Rich, let's get into Friday. Patrick Mahomes starts his season off against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Which quarterback do you think needs to get off to a better start this season, Mahomes or Herbert?
Well, I think it's Herbert, you know, for sure, without a doubt. And I'll tell you this, because I was just chatting with the Chiefs yesterday as part of the pre-broadcast Zoom. I'm calling that game on Friday night. I'm heading to Brazil. I'm going to be doing my show from Brazil on Disney Plus on Thursday and Friday.
Excuse me.
I'm just, you know, No, these are facts. Let me pick them up from the floor. Let me pick them up. You know, okay, very good.
There we go.
So, and I think they're a little pissed. You know, they're not going to say it,
right,
but I think the Chiefs are pissed. I think they're pissed at the way the season ended. They're one of those types of champions that can't live any longer with that and can't wait to get the taste out of their mouths. Mahomes looks better. I asked him if he had some sort of a Luka workout regimen over the offseason. He basically said he was just cutting out the snacks, which is, again, you know, a way for him to not call attention to himself, but just show up and show out. And I think they're going to go deep. I think they're going to have a bigger passing game than we've seen over the last couple of years, and they can't wait to unwrap it. As for Herbert, you know, the guy is 0-2 in his playoff career. Last year, he had 4 interceptions in that playoff game, so he would like to get the taste out of his mouth as well. And so I think Herbert needing to start with a win in Brazil over the Chiefs is something that the Chargers could use, certainly since their next game is the Monday Nighter on ESPN in Vegas for the Raiders home opener. So I think the fast start would be something the Chargers could utilize. Well, although, you know, the Chiefs do have the Eagles the next week at home. I'll choose I'll choose Herbert here.
Well, before I answer this question, and get back to Caleb DeBoer at Alabama real quick, it's a $63 million buyout, and I'm trying to think about who else should be fired for giving him that damn contract. Personally, a $63 million buyout? Really? Who gave him that contract? Let's look at their job. Let's look at their job. Curb some spending, okay? Let's look at their job. But let me get back to this in terms of what we're asking there. Of course, the answer to this is Herbert. Mahomes is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. There's been to 5 Super Bowls. Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. I mean, you know, he gave up a 27-point lead to Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville a few years back. Even though he cut down significantly on the interceptions, wasn't turning over the ball last year, that certainly wasn't the case once he got to the playoffs. And so there's a lot to prove when it comes to the Chargers. We know that Herbert can be a stud, at least during the regular season. But it's time he show us something during the postseason. As it pertains to Mahomes in Kansas City, he can cut out all the diet, you know, all the snacks that he wants to and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. That didn't have anything to do with the ass kicking they received. What it had something to do with is they couldn't protect them. You understand? And the Eagles got all up in him. People weren't getting open, you know, and they were all over him. And on top of it all, the defense couldn't do much to stop Saquon, Jalen Hurts, and the crew. That's what happened. That was a beatdown.
Yeah, and they feel like they fixed the left tackle spot with Josh Simmons. We'll see what the rookie can do there. He's the 11th different left tackle that's going to be starting for Mahomes. Correct. But that's going to be a fun Friday game. The NFC goes first on Thursday night, the AFC on Friday night, and then as you pointed out, the Ravens and the Bills on Sunday. I do look forward to the Monday night game too, big time. Because, again, you know, obviously, you know, I'm a Michigan guy. Seeing J.J. McCarthy first up with Ben Johnson and Caleb together, that is a great week 1 capper. I cannot wait. Can't wait.
We have a great slate. Okay, Rich, with 2 eyes. First of all, have fun in Brazil. and I want you to enjoy that. Then, if you could just remind everybody when and where they can watch you and who will be joining you on your show today.
Thank you. Disney Plus, top of the hour, ESPN app everywhere, ESPN Radio, check your local listing, Sirius XM Channel 80. So it's TV and radio streaming at the same time, airing at the same time. Troy Aikman's first up as our first guest, which I'm very excited about. Obviously, talking about Micah with him, and then the rest of everything else, he'll be with Joe calling that Monday night game we just mentioned. Von Miller's first up with the Washington Commanders. Can't wait to chat with him. Sean Payton of the Broncos is in hour 3. And before that, Paul Rudd joins the show. He was on my very first show 11 years ago. So it makes sense that he joins us since, on that Disney Plus app underneath the conversation, you can hit that Marvel tile as well and watch Paul there. So it kind of works all together.
It sure does. Rich, best of luck. Glad to be teammates again. Have fun in Brazil, and we'll be talking to you a lot. So looking forward to that.
Thank you. Take care, Stephen A.
Take care, buddy.
Kickoff is right